My name is Tauhid and I'm from World Academy. And yes, today we are here for the webinar on the digital transformation. And it's being organized by World Academy. And we have our trainer. He is Gaogaufi Steady Mako. He is actually a consultant in digital transformation, and he's specialized in shaping strategies, help in growing organization and navigating through bigger changes. So I will give him the floor to introduce himself as well. And the flow of today's webinar will be, he will be continuing with the content. We will have a strategic break in the middle. And then at the end, we will have a question answer session. Then, of course, would be requesting everyone to switch on their camera so that we can take a picture together, and then we'll close the session accordingly. So without any further ado, I would like to give the platform to Mr. Marco to start off this webinar.
Good afternoon, good morning to you all, and thank you for coming. My name is it's Steady Mako, as Tawhid has explained. I'm the managing director of a company called Technology and Modernization Consulting. It's a local company that really focuses on public sector modernization and helping organizations to execute better. And really helping us to move forward as a court. So what I'm going to do is I've just pasted the agenda there. I think we did pay justice to the introduction, and then we'll jump to as I said, I come from a company called Technology and Modernization Consulting. We focus on those three legs that you see. We focus on change management, management consultancy services, where we do strategies, both technology, digital transformation, and corporate strategies. Associated to that, we provide capabilities to power implementation in areas of project management, project planning, as well as providing some project management information system solutions. So that's the two parts. Then the last one is about agile transformation. Equally so, agile transformation is just all about a powered approach to implementation. We do help organizations through training, through hand-holding and coaching, so that they can eventually be able to execute very well. And those are some of the few courses that we run. Those of you who come from Botswana, you have been called what HRDC. Our courses are fully registered with HRDC. Interesting to note that we have digital transformation and innovation as a block, and under those headings there that you see, that those specific courses, digital transformation, service design, which are really a modern tools that enables organizations in execution, and also helping organizations to be cognizant of the customer base that it serves, and then customer base, and of course there is agile transformation, where we deal with agile leadership and agile scrum. Those are the key things. Now, coming back to the main thrust of the day today, the big elephant in the room is digital transformation. And I've taken an extract from IBM just for us to appreciate what this animal is. Digital transformation, in essence, it actually speaks to sorry. And just a minute. Let me I'm just trying to close. Yeah. So it really it speaks about it's a business strategy initiative that incorporates digital technologies across all areas of organization. Firstly, starting of course with evaluating and then modernizing organizations' processes, products, operations, and technology stack to enable continual, repeat, customer-driven innovation. So you would see that it ends. The definition actually ends with customer-driven innovation, which really shows that for us to be more successful in what we do, digital transformation should be focusing on providing value to customers. And of course, the ripple effect there, it's for you as an organization to be able to provide a value to customers. You need to have a solid back office. You need to be having some very strong technology presence in terms of the infrastructure that adequately enables you to provide the services. And then, of course, some processes. You will note that some organizations are stuck with olden processes that doesn't recognize the temporary elements that we live in today. So that's pretty much the definition as extracted from IBM, so that we may have a full appreciation. So when we say digital transformation, the first aspect there, I did mention the strategy aspect. It is important for organizations to craft their strategy so that they can be able to know where they're going. As you know, strategy is about choices, and after making choices, then you put all your efforts towards realizing that which you had articulated in your strategy. It speaks about people. The integral part of success in digital transformation hinges on people. And you would agree that there are new skill sets that will be required. There are different working arrangements that we should actually get into, so that this testament can actually be able to touch that which it expects. And then in terms of the customer as well, very, very important. It is critically important for us to understand that when we reform, the customer should always be at the center of what we are doing. As we speak about people, you would note that people require a lot of training to enable them to be able to operate in the new era that the organization will actually be getting into. And specific skill sets such as service design are very, very key and integral to where we are going. I have worked in government for a number of years, and one of the things that we do as government very well was to generate services for people without even talking to them. We'll just say we are citizens, we know what people want. But we're saying things have changed. You need to be able to deal with the customer insights that comes your way, so that at the end of it, you can be able to improve user experience. Then another fundamental aspect that is a child to digital transformation is technology. A lot of organizations and a lot of countries are struggling with their technical infrastructure. Therefore, if you are struggling with infrastructure, digital transformation will just be a dream. You need to make sure that we leverage on the modern technology, the cloud computing and the like, so that eventually you can be able to have systems that are sitting on a platform that enables easier delivery to customers. And then, of course, culture. Culture is one of the very essential aspects that organizations should be focusing on, to make sure that you usher in a culture that is responsive to the needs of the customers. Without that, we would have a serious challenge. It talks about making sure that you've got strong digital leaders who are not afraid of dealing with the emerging things that come from the modern aspects of driving change. And then, of course, you've got an organization there that speaks about organization agility. A lot of us sometimes speak about agility without understanding that when we speak about agility, we are basically referring to a cross-functional organization that seeks to resolve the thematic areas in an organization. It could be profitability, it could be customer need, it could be the issues of brand. So you set an organization that focuses on what is key and what exactly are we doing. And then with the aid of the emerging technologies, as I said, the aspect of innovation in labs and boxes. So that's what basically we say. So when you say you are a transformation specialist, it means you should be able to be competent in this domain. I'm saying this because I have realized from some of the participants that they are students. And it would be nice for them to be able to realize that they need to build a mirror of skills so that eventually they can be able to be experts in driving a digital transformation so that ultimately you make your customers happy. So why digital transformation? There are a number of aspects that pushes companies to modernize delivery, and one of them, they're not by coincidence, it's the aspect of improved customer satisfaction and loyalty. The world is a global village now where we all have to compete in terms of what we offer to our customers. Therefore, in the quest to be able to take a share in the market, you need to make sure that customer satisfaction is pronounced in your strategy. Therefore, when you comply with this requirement of making sure that you want to improve customer satisfaction or loyalty, you will be pushed to go through the route of digital transformation. And of course, one of the key things there, it's we live in a contemporary world where people are frustrated by waiting periods. They want when they, microwave used to give us what we wanted, but this is exactly how the world is. They want services in a fast-paced manner. Hence why now it's companies and governments are really forced to now adopt digital transformation so that they can be able to be efficient in their workforce, to cut off things like handoffs, making sure that operations become seamless in response to what customers actually want. And then, of course, a more engaged workforce. This is one of the attributes that we see in agile transformation, where you have an individual, you have teams, and then you actually have an entity. So it is very, very key to make sure that a more engaged workforce, we approach this in its simplest form. If we get to think about all these aspects, they are all nested and resulting in us why we would think about digital transformation. And then, of course, for rapid and continual innovation. As I've said, digital transformation, it's one of the key enablers that brings about innovation in a more organized manner and more pronounced manner. Hence why we would say that of these four, there could be some other key things that are measurable that would make organizations to go the route of digital transformation. And as I've said, it means these four that I've highlighted, there are strong aspects that are hidden under these things, strong measurements that should be in place that really helps organizations to be able to determine whether they've achieved all that they really want to do. We talk about benefits management. Benefits management are very, very key. It's all tied to all of these aspects that I've actually related in the slides. So there could be other reasons that pushes organizations to transform, but these are largely the more pronounced one that catapults organizations to. Now, in terms of the key pillars of digital transformation, there are about four key pillars. I think the very first one that I always say to people is systems are meant to work and work very well. Therefore, the absence of people working with system will always yield systems-wide elephants. So why is it that people are more pronounced? The aspect of performance management hinges on people, culture hinges on people, skills at all levels, it hinges on people. So I have seen a number of organizations that will have automated and still don't derive the return on investment simply because they have left their people behind. So those of you who are in areas of leadership, please note that people are key instruments that will facilitate you to be able to to realize the New Testament that you would want to get into as an organization. And it's important for me to highlight this thing that the reason why we say skills across all levels, it's important to really note that, for instance, we've got leadership that doesn't know how to lead in an automated world. We've got leadership who doesn't understand the essence of empathy. The leadership who struggle even to appreciate what technology is. So you could see that it's important to make sure that you capacitate your workforce across. I always give an example of people who are in PR, who went to school and they learned that for you to catch your customers, it's in quotas in these traditional settings. But today we all see that the customers are present in the web. Therefore, we need to make sure that we capacitate our PRO officers, our people who are dealing with communication, to be able to use simple mediums of social media and all this to be able to reach out to their clients. So the second key thing there is processes. You would agree with me that there are some processes that we're really speaking to organizations, but not really speaking to the interest of the customers that we serve. This is why today we speak about service design, understanding user journeys, building those high fidelity frameworks, building empathy maps. Any person who is in the service, who is in the business of providing service, should be able to understand the basics in service design. The basics in service design simply say that it is more important for you to be cognizant of how and why your customers need specific services so that you can enable them. Those of you who are in government, as I've highlighted, it's important to go through this cycle of making sure that you sit together with your customers, understand their pain points, ensure that you re-engineer your processes to support the pain points of your clients so that eventually you can be able to hit your revenue targets or whatever, any target that you may actually be putting in. And then the second aspect there, it's the business process reviewing and engineering. So this is also tied to service design, and it speaks explicitly to processes that let's make sure that we look at them, optimize them for efficiency so that we can be able to reach out to our clients. And then the key thing there is when we do, I'll just give the story of the olden websites. You'll see that this is to do with this organization. The organization will be putting pictures of employees in that. But note this, that when people come to your portal, they are simply interested in the services, not the structure of the organization or who looks pretty and ugly in the organization, but coming there to consume a service. Hence why, as we think about making all these things, customer centricity should be a very pronounced a variable that will enable us moving to make our customers happy. Then another key thing there, as I said, the aspect of technology. Technology is a key enabler. And if you do it and use it very properly, you'd realize that it would make your life very easy in making sure that you reach out to your customers. And then there's an aspect of interoperability there. This is systems talking to each other and making it easy for customers. The data that you have, you should not ask from people because your systems can actually be able to talk to each other and get what you require. At the heart of technology, we see what we call enterprise architecture, which is a blueprint that speaks to the reference model and how your technology supports the business that you want to take. I have highlighted that services and systems should be sitting in the infrastructure that is palatable, the one that will not cause pains to your clients. Hence why there are ways like high availability infrastructure, where we are not told systems are down because we did not buy fuel for generators. They expect to get a service as and when they want it. That's basically what we need to be doing when we think about these things. We sustain and build something that will keep our customers happy and interested in the services that we provide. Now, one of the key enablers that really shapes digital transformation, it's adoption of enactment of pieces of legislation that support the digitization drive. And of course, secondary to that, some operating policies in specific organizations that really places the interest of a customer at heart. We have a number of policies that we can relate business continuity as one of them, ICT policies, and sort of such policies. Those are key aspects that we need to be mindful of as we move in delivering services to our people. I think with that, Toit, maybe I can pause here, just allow the quick break, and then from there we'll progress with the next slides. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, that was very informative. Even I was into the materials you have presented, but in that now I will just take a short strategic break. In the meantime, what I will do is probably I'll share my screen and give an introduction about World Academy. Those who don't know about us, just a moment. I hope my screen is visible. Mr. Nazmul, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So we are World Academy for Research and Development, and we are a UK-based organization. And to keep up with the quality of the education, we have been registered under the UK Registered Learner Provider, and being certified through ISO with 21001, Cert 17024, 30414, and 40108. Well, we have a global impact so far with our programs, with our services in over 65 plus countries, providing and offering about 200 plus programs, which is related to both academic and certified programs. Till now, we have trained about 30,000 plus professionals across these countries, have a pool of 132 instructors over 14 countries. About 30% of our alumni are C-suite holders, and the completion rate of our program is 95% in their first attempt. So why World Academy would be the right choice? Because we are one of the largest professional certification institutions based in UK. We have a global acceptance of our credentials. Our fees are affordable. We offer a flexible plan. We have a wide range of programs covering professional areas like HR, project management, supply chain, logistics, accounting, finance, environment, health and safety, auditing, and etc. We also have about 150 certification programs currently being offered, about 30 plus master's level programs, 40 plus diploma level programs. We have a very user-friendly learning management system through which anyone from any parts of the world can actually access their studies. We also offer professional badges. These are credential badges, which we offer through credly.com. It's a concern of Pearson. I believe most of us know about it. And the affiliations, well, World Academy is accredited. It is an off-call regulated awarding body in UK. We are actually the approved center of Cambridge Academy of Professionals, ProfQual UK, and Board of HR Certification UK. We are a very proud provider of HRCI, SHRM, and ATD, and a couple of our programs are academically aligned with SHRM. We are in partnership with the Institute of KPI Specialist, Academy of Business English and Communication, and an accredited institute by NPMA UK. Well, we have a mission which is 2030. By 2030, we want to become the #1 professional certification institution, having a presence over 100 countries. So the rate we are going, I hope we will be achieving for 2030. But so recently, in 2025, we've conducted a graduation ceremony in Kenya with all our participants who have successfully completed the program, and it was followed by a summit, which was on Global Professional Summit. Similarly, we had another program in Uganda with graduates coming all over from Uganda and some other countries outside as well. We also had a summit in Uganda as well. And finally, we had the third graduation ceremony in Tanzania, which also was followed by a global summit. So with that note, I would like to conclude and resume the webinar. Let me just stop sharing my screen. Sir Marco, you can actually resume. Thank you.
Thank you. I will resume from. We spoke at length about what digital transformation basically is, and I would like to believe that we now have a solid appreciation of how this animal looks. It's important now for us to be able to focus on the whatnot, because if we do not focus on the pitfalls, we would get carried away.
Sir, you can share your screen, sir.
Yes, I'm just getting there now.
All right.
Where am I now? Oh, this is Zoom. Are we there?
Yes, you can put in full screen mode and then continue.
Yes, a quick recap of those who just joined. Those are aspects that we touched. Yeah, we looked onto those aspects. Just fly quickly, and this is just the common failures that really creates problem for organizations. As I've indicated, basically this really speaks to the key things that I've highlighted as those pillars of digital transformation. People are a very instrumental tool to realizing what each and every organization seeks to achieve. Therefore, without proper investment in people, without skills development across levels, we are bound to fail in our efforts. One of the greatest challenges as well that we always look in organizations is organizations struggle to put in proper governance model to be looking at the respective initiatives that emerge from this. In simple terms, the project management structures that support implementation of specific projects that are laid within the strategy. So measurements and accountability gaps, they always create huge problem for organization, which means if you are committed to doing something right, we need to make sure that we fix governance. And then, of course, one of the things that I see being a challenge, and this applies even across to governments, it's where the office that really drives digital transformation, because sometimes it's taken to be IT, it will be taken to an IT office, forgetting that this is a huge transformation for an organization. Therefore, technology is just an enabler. They cannot own the whole process of reforming an organization. Therefore, it's very important that those of you who have started and those of you who are about to start should make sure that the office is properly positioned and rightly positioned so that it can discharge its mandate. The loose word of saying IT will handle it is a thing of the past with digital transformation, because it creates a serious problem where people who are supposed to be giving you a particular capability, you now relegate the responsibility of driving the whole change in there. guys who have done computer science, management information systems, do not really know what it means really to transform organization. This is why the set of skills that I've highlighted in the beginning, that quite an array of skills you need in service design, problem solving, and and the like. And so you need to make sure that we place it right. We give IT its space, because IT is responsible for making sure that it provides you with the appropriate capability. And then, of course, when there's weak political and executive sponsorship, we always see problems. I mean, Botswana, and some of you, I think, who know our past presidents, there was a time that we had a huge surge of HIV/AIDS. And the president then, who was Festus Mogai, who was in love with championing the HIV work, we realized that out of his efforts, Botswana was able to turn the page from the AIDS HIV pandemic. Therefore, you could see that when leadership takes responsibility and leading by example, you tend to see more result, as opposed to when leaders are disengaged. And when there's no clear transformation vision, they say any road will lead you home. But when it comes to digital transformation, it is clear that without strategy, there's nothing that you can be able to achieve. As best as possible, organizations should devote time in making sure that they create that shared vision and socialize that across the organization, so that any person who comes to work every day should know what their part is in supporting the organization in the newly pronounced vision that it takes. One of the problems, it's a vendor-looking aspect, where we are saying that we are talking about different sets of capabilities, and there's no way you can find an organization that specializes in all of these things that I'm saying. Hence why it is important for you to be inclusive and be accommodative as best as possible, so that you can learn things from others who are doing it properly. So with that, I've highlighted some few case studies. I think those of you who follow the World Economic Forum and the global index in e-government, you would know that for a number of years, Estonia has actually been leading. Therefore, I've picked them as the best in the world, so that we can see some associated cases that what happened and what were the result. Estonia did start with the national digital ID. They went further now to do what you call an interoperability framework that they call the X-Road. It's becoming very, very familiar now, I mean, more popular now across countries, because what they are doing now, because this has become their mineral, they are now going into countries selling this interoperability capability that they have developed. And it's just on open source. So we could see now that out of the commitment that Estonia did, about 99% of services are now online, which means citizens do not need to go to any government office for any service. And this position that has been taken by government, it has had a ripple effect in the economy, so that even small entities now are able to push their services online without bothering customers really to be coming to the service halls. So an average citizen interacts with government in minutes, as opposed to what we know now. It's like people are queuing for operation when the specialist does not come. Instead of just going to a government office, get your service and go. So we find that Estonia is doing very well. And one of the experiences that I've actually picked in Estonia when I was in Europe, it's there's so much total commitment in funding service design. A huge fraction is also spent on change management, which means these are key aspects that we need to be able to think about them as we move forward with digital transformation. So service design and making sure that people can implement projects very well. And then, of course, the aspect of change management, very, very essential. They were saying in Europe, almost the project's cost, 40% of project costs are always tied to change management, which means really socializing the emerging impacts. And this thing really starts even before the product is actually done, because as I said, Service, service design details that work with your customer from the point that you actually think about a particular service. Get it from them. So that's where we see now socializing change. This is why now you see the budget going to 40% of the project cost is just tied to change management activities. That starts from service design and all those iterative process that they actually take. One of the things that we see, Rwanda is becoming a shining example to us as the African countries because of the one-stop e-government platform that have actually done. So you realize that they have brought about service prioritization because there were so many services. They had to prioritize and focus on the life event services, the one that speaks to a chunk of citizens. And we could see that the outcome of that, it's the service standards have been reduced to hours, where you give birth, you simply walk away with a birth certificate, you get to a driving. A lot of these services that we know that a number of countries and governments are struggling with providing them. So we could see that beyond just specific services, you could see even corruption opportunities are reduced. Those that thrive with doing things in the bad way, you realize that now because of this adoption, there's more that we could actually be talking about. And now in terms of the critical success factors, I have indicated that there's the need for strong executive support. When leaders are present, you can always predict that you would get better results. But when leaders are absent, it's always chaos. When we see projects not being done on time, there's no accountability and things like that. So you could see that customer-centric approach, as I've said, this is one of the new things that most of us who have been providing services for many years, it's not something that we want to listen to. But customer voice has proven to be very, very essential in existence of any company that provides service. Therefore, proper service design principle adoption in all the services that we anticipate, it be governments, it be some private entities. You need to make sure that you place the needs of our customers at the very top, so that ultimately you can be able to realize where we really want to go. Change management and cultural readiness, these are very, very key. People sometimes say that culture will eat your strategy for breakfast. Now, this is now a clear a reason now that you could see that when people were used to do things in a particular way, we need to carry them through the process of change, demonstrate and show them the opportunities that are coming with the new testament that you are taking. Once you have done that, you would realize that resistance from employees will be killed. When you answer, why are you carrying that? How are you going to do this? How does it benefit you as an individual? So such things are very, very key. And if we can do these things, as you see, it means we are actually going to be having a serious problem. One of the things that are actually now becoming more pronounced is the data strategies across organizations. Data management and proper data governance instruments should be in place to be able to help you realize the digital transformation. So you could see that it's a mirror of capabilities that you require that will ultimately help you to discharge that which you want. I spoke about all this, and maybe the 2-3 that I just need to highlight on, it's the aspect of skill development across all levels in an organization, enabling legislation and policies. I've highlighted that earlier on. And then, of course, a sound infrastructure, contemporary things like AWS and with some private clouds that you can actually be able to buy and support your undertaking. So, as I said, strong, visible leadership that shows the way, role modeling the right behaviors, and then showing that this is where the future is. And then, of course, that active listening. This typically speaks about empathy, that when you lead, you should actually be able to lead with empathy. Understand, this is why even when you get to actual service design itself, there are empathy maps where you really have to detail how you interpret the problems that are coming with the problems that are and pain points that are being experienced by our customers, and then translating those to opportunities for you to make a difference. I think from there, this is just to throw some statistics for those of you who love numbers. The global spending is projected to reach 3.4 trillion by 2026. By the end of this year, they may review that. And what we see, and North America has been leading the pack. And out of that, we see that America is taking quite a share with about 35.8%, contributing quite a huge chunk in terms of the high speed networks that they have, the big data centers that are establishing. You know how innovation is in America. And those are the key enablers that will really drive. So there's no way we can say we would move away from cost. But what we see is there's a correlation in terms of spending so much in putting this and beginning to scale low now in maintenance and support, which has now been eroding a lot of governments because they've been paying through the nose for some of the undertakings that they've done. And then we see that 97% of businesses accelerated digital transformation effort due to COVID. I, for one, in Botswana, we used to have people working from homes. Even in government, people used to work from home. There was that surge in telecommunication business because a lot of funds were put towards making sure that we enable the workforce to be working in their respective homes. And I see that immediately after COVID subsided, we went back to the olden culture of bureaucracy, the culture of coming late to work, such things. But we had actually made strides during the time of COVID. We're told that digital transformation failures reveals that more companies struggle with implementation. As I've said, it is clear that some of these things that we do, they require precision. And I remember speaking this to some people that Michael Porter was brought into Botswana as a country. I always talk about Botswana because this is home, he was brought in here and he carried out an assessment of how we are doing as government. And what came out from Michael Porter's findings is that Botswana need powder approach to implementation. And I think this is where all of us as African countries and others who are part of this audience, we need to make sure that we capacitate our people and close this expertise barrier. Because if you do not capacitate your people, if you do not bring about cross-functional teams, there's no way you can actually be able to realize anything. And then we are told that about over 50% of CEOs believe that digitization has significantly boosted the revenue growth. And I think even in terms of government, where the interest is really not money, but efficiency and reduction in queues and time wastages, it has been clear that digital transformation has eliminated some of those problems. And according to PwC, 55% of companies struggle with talent gaps in digital transformation, which clearly means that we need to be alive to these things. One of the greatest things that is actually becoming more of a fashion now, it's the issue of fractional roles, where you get someone who's competent in a specific domain area and not necessarily making them an employee and only calling them to come and give you the specific skill set that you require to drive your things. Because I would like to believe that competency framework development, it's something that should actually be able to be part of the people agenda when talking about learning and growth aspect in balanced scorecard. So which means the struggle in companies without specific skills around digital transformation, today there are ways around it. And then, of course, Statista reports that 58% of HR leaders report increased productivity due to digital transformation. You could actually see that there are positives that comes with digital transformation. So I think with that, I will pause here. It's quarter two. We only have 15 minutes. I'll take your questions graciously so that we can be able to bring more clarity into some of these things that we have highlighted. So questions will just be targeted to what I spoke about. So I'll pause here to it and give the team to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we can take the questions from the chat box as well. You can type your questions, or if you want to ask your questions verbally, you can raise your hand and then we'll give you the platform to ask. Any questions? Yes. I think I'm going to go with Clement. Mr. Clement, you can ask your question. You can unmute and talk.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for your presentation. My homeboy from the same country. My question is around the case study, Estonia, and it's moving services 99% online. Just out of curiosity, what were the ramifications from a social aspect? How has this impacted the social side of interactions and so forth? And obviously, this has brought a new lifestyle. What has been the impact, and how is the impact being managed?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Sir, if you can respond to that.
Yeah, what is becoming more pronounced is Estonia has, as you know, that they were at war for some time with Russia. They emerged out of that and looked at what is a distinctive thing that we can actually build into. That, remember, they are a sizable country. They're a sizable country, and the advent of digital transformation has shaped Estonia so that it's now a major contributor into what they actually do. So we see that there's a rise in innovation. Their GDP has grown. I think from a social perspective, the lives have become better. And clearly, which means that if we can be able to do more, because remember, a lot of services one government is providing online, it means you can spend your single cent into something meaningful rather than going to take a long bus to drive from Hukunzi to come to Gaborone for a specific service. So it has significantly improved the lives of Estonians. They are now happy. Such that even the laws that they come up with today, you would see that these are happy people.
Great, thank you. I hope that answers the question. The next, I would like to take Makharash, if I'm not pronouncing it, Mr. Mark. Yes, you can ask your question.
Yes, thank you. I hope I'm very audible.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
My question is a bit personal. Well, me and a certain group of friends have decided to start up a project that is completely based online, but we suffer one challenge, which is getting people to engage, because it seems like most of the employees or the people we are working with tend to push most of their roles and duties towards the IT and the department, the IT department, which is not right and which is really dragging us in terms of our goals that we set and how to achieve them. So how best do we get these people or these employees to engage more into their duties and find ways of solving their problems without pushing them to the IT department? Thank you.
I think the long and short of it, it's as I've indicated earlier on, it is important for us to understand that change management is an integral part of really achieving the aspirations. And it's all start from just making sure that whatever that you want to do for people and with people, engage people first. Because if they do not know what is coming, you would struggle to find buy-in when you have actually launched a product. The case and example, as I've said, we learned a very good lesson when I was in Europe, especially in Estonia. We realized that the 40% of the project cost, it's always tied to change management. And change management does not have to come at the tail end of the process. Before you start the actual development, before you actually start any other thing, even at a concept level, you need to start engaging people so that they may prepare for that which is coming. I always give an example about Botswana. We are not unique in those things. At some point, we used to use checks to pay people, and we realized that we adopted EFT. EFT, people thought is just a language, of people who stay maybe in towns. And I always tell people that we experience a lot of resistance from politicians who were expected to be paid through EFT because they wanted physical checks, until the time that we had to sit down now and change the narrative and tell them, do you know that if we provide you with the service, we'll give you more time to go and be able to talk to your constituents. That's how everything changed. So change management from inception is very, very key, because if you engage people at the tail end, you would not get there. So as a rule of thumb, whatever that we intend to do, just the same thing with strategy. An organization that does its strategy and not cascade it to all the rest of the staff members create problems for themselves. So socializing what is coming to people, even what you are thinking, is essential. There are high chances that you get positive result out of what you are doing. So I think I've answered that. And then the last one now, when you really want to be brutal, is the aspect of carrot and stick. Those of who are going to use this system, when we end the review process, they will get an incentive as part of the performance management and the rewards menu in any organization that you may have, to say those that are using the system for blah blah blah, this is what they do. They will get an incremental notch that comes yearly. If you don't, then there's nothing for you. I think such things, playing with their minds to drive results, it's a welcome thing. I'll pause there for this one.
Great, super. I'll take the question from Kalaote. Please unmute yourself and then talk. Oh, all right. Yeah, hi. Hi.
Yes. Okay, can hear you now.
Yes, you can talk. I think you have unmuted yourself. You can talk, Mr. Form. All right. I'll skip this one, I think, and I'll go to Mr. Geoffrey. Geoffrey, you can ask your question, sir.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thanks for both the host of these presentations and also the presenter. I'm Geoffrey from Tanzania, and my question is that from all across the areas that have been presented, I didn't quite get on how these digital transformations within the organization can impact the QMS foundations. As you know that the purpose of digital transformations is to digitalize the processes. Now, to lead the improvement of those processes while touching the base of core business areas, that could be something of problems. Why? Because most of the organization within the country of Tanzania, I would like to take this as a precedent, they are still struggling for having a better QMS or the quality management system, whether it's being adopted from the international standard as ISO 9001, or whether it is from regional set structures of laws or the institutions of practice. How will this processes, all the process of digitalizations or the digital transformation could impact, and what the relationship with the QMS systems or the foundations? That is my question.
Thank you, Asante Sana, for the question. QMS as a discipline, it's purely a risk management approach. I think today when we talk about any of these project management frameworks that you have, talking PMBOK, we talk Prince2, you talk PM Square in the European in the European side, you would realize that quality is embedded and is defined in projects. Whatever initiative that you actually take, an aspect of quality management is actually embedded into the quality requirements that you do. I'm Prince2 certified, and Prince2 has a very pragmatic quality management framework that is embedded in the methodology. Of course, not as a discipline, because QMS is just a discipline, but not necessarily meaning that when you do not, this is why we said each and every project must be done right from inception to actual planning and execution. And when you talk about execution, you realize that there are gates, there is approach that you take in implementation. Therefore, to say that a project can pass from this phase to the other, the governance structures that are put there would be happy in terms of the quality aspect that has been detailed during the planning and during the definition of the project. So quality management as a discipline is one of the enablers that ensures that if you institutionalize it, of course, it has an advantage. But all these project management frameworks that I'm talking about, they've got an aspect of quality in themselves. So that's the correlation that I can relate, that in the absence of a quality management framework in an organization, if you adopt any particular project management framework, you realize that they address an aspect of quality, because quality, other than just blowing it out of proportion, it's fit for purpose. That's the definition of quality. And if you have done it well, when you're sitting during the initiation and during the planning phases and detail the quality that you really want, it becomes very easy, so that you pay people because they've given you that which you want. You approve as a governance structure because you are happy with the quality metrics. So I think that's how I look at it.
All right, great. So I'll take some questions from the chat box. One came from Alex, like what tools can be recommended for HR digital transformation? Like in short, if we can say if there is any tool.
I think I would like to highlight one thing. Today, a lot of all these companies, we talk about SAP, you would realize a lot of their services, they are tied to modernize and automate, to modernize and optimize processes, such that when you take SAP as a solution for your HR processes, you realize that it is based on very lean and clean processes. The challenge becomes when you want to buy such a high-end solution, and when you get it, you begin to customize it. This is where problems come in. So in essence, all that I'm saying is today, there's a lot, some of the costs and the figures that I've flagged there speaks to research and innovation.
Question is.
Come again?
Sorry, you can continue.
So you'd see that research and development addresses the pain points. And therefore, the systems that are now coming off the shelf, they are based on optimized processes. I think that's the long and short of it. You buy this because there's been a lot of innovation. There's been a lot of optimization that went to it. When you acquire the systems, there's always a temptation to take, from neuroscience, you know that the mind is accustomed to what it knows. You realize that people struggle to use this new tool because they want to see the things that they know.
Great. So I'll take another question from the chat box. It says, how important is it to have a robust IT strategy before you can think of developing a digital transformation strategy?
I see it the other way around. It is important for you to have a sound corporate strategy that paints the direction of where we're going. Once you are clear of where you are going, there's what we call enablers to implementing and realizing your strategy. It becomes one of the key enablers to make sure that they support the key result areas in the strategy, in the corporate strategy that you've articulated. So IT supports the corporate strategy in that sense. So it's good to have an IT strategy, but firstly, you need to have a corporate strategy.
Great.
Once you have the corporate strategy, then the IT would actually be able to organize themselves to support where the organization is going. That's how simple it is.
All right. Great. Another question that came in was to invest more in digital transformation, what are the security measures to be considered as an organization? Like if you can say it in short. I know it's a very big question.
I didn't get that. Can you come again?
Well, it's about if a company has to invest in digital transformation, what are the security measures to be considered by that particular organization?
We know today, this is why even governments are quite upfront. Cybersecurity is a reality. It's a reality that everyone is responsible for security in an organization. And when you go to the technology stack, there are a lot of security measures that are applied in the services and in the systems that are being built in. So, because if you don't do that, you create problems. Today, the security applies right from the physical up to your data, your infrastructure, even up to data layer, even up to, that's how seamless security is. So it's important to pay attention. And this is part of what I said earlier on, that one of the key enablers, one, it's some legal instruments, two, policies. One of the policies that you actually have to focus on is security policy on how you exchange data. You'd see people going on live and still writing in a piece of paper saying, can you take my password? I'm going away. So, gone are the days for us to be working like that. This is why it's essential for us to build the layers of security and certificates across.
Great, thank you. The last question, because we are running out of time, it's already 3 minutes ahead. The last question from Jojo. One of the key pointers of digital transformation, as you mentioned, is empathy and equipping staff with the required skill sets. My question here is, how do the executive directors balance this out? He also added, because he realized that there will have to invest a whole lot of stuff, staff's mind change, tech buying and maintenance phases.
Yeah, the interesting part about it, it's skills development is a key aspect. Even those very directors that you would refer to, they always need to be upskilled so that they can be able to work well and support where the organization is going. So I always speak it like it's a puzzle, it's a quadrant. You've got skills, you've got technology, you've got legal, and then you've got a culture aspect. So all of these things, they require attention for you to be able to realize digital transformation. Because, systems should work and systems must work. Therefore, there's no way you can institute systems without people. First of all, even in terms of definition of the requirements to build the system, you require people who understand what they do. So it's important to make sure that you give all of this. And I sometimes say it's important to start small and scale up, because the good thing about digital transformation and its key dependencies, it's like you build once and use many times. So that's the essence. But in terms of people, we lose people, we keep on hiring new people. We need to make sure that we keep our workforce up to date with contemporary tools so that they can be efficient in what they do.
Well, Thank you very much for the responses, sir, and the questions who have asked their questions as well. Thank you very much for being participative. With that note, we will be concluding the session here. And before we conclude, if I can request everybody to switch on their cameras, we can take a group picture. Mr. Nazmul is going to coordinate that. And in the meantime, there is a link on the group chat. You can complete that registration and also get the certification as well. It's going to be an e-certificate. To get this video, you can visit our YouTube channel. It will be posted over there. So let's take a picture. Yeah, great, 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 great. Super, awesome. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you very much for switching on the camera. And with that note, I would like to thank Mrs. Steady Mako for giving us a beautiful presentation on digital transformation. I believe people would understand the impact of this, and we are in a changing world, and soon these things will be implemented or as being implemented already. There were case studies that has helped us as well to understand. So thank you very much, sir, for sharing your insights. Thank you, audience, for coming and joining and asking a lot of questions regarding this matter. It shows how important this is for us and everyone to have a transformation for the future. So with that note, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, audience. You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Bye.